Hi, welcome to Qumulex Radio. This is our maiden voyage. This is episode 1. We're really excited to do this. We're not nervous at all. Hope all 2 or 3 of you that watch this enjoy it. Maybe more if we do a good job. I'm Josh Bowman. I'm the product manager here at Qumulex. With me is Aaron Newman, our lead sales engineer. And, in these episodes, we're just going to try to find some really interesting topics that are relevant to the industry. The whole idea for this, just since it's episode 1, is, when we're traveling and riding in the car together, actually the last time we did that a month or 2 ago, we have all these conversations that are just kind of topical about things that are going on. And we thought, if this is interesting to us, maybe it would be interesting to others. And so we decided to call that Qumulex Radio. And here we are. So for the first week's topic, we thought we'd maybe cover something interesting. There's been a lot of talk in various places that maybe as cloud systems grow and become more advanced, possibly there's not as much of a need or not a need for the security integrator. I've heard this a few places. It comes up on occasion. To be honest and to be fair, I don't really hear this from any of our competitors. I can't think of anybody that is actually saying that or seems to have that goal. But I know I have an immediate reaction when I hear that, because I grew up in a family business, where we had integrators for AV and security and electronics and other things. And I probably spent more years as an integrator than working for manufacturers. I don't think that's realistic at all. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah. When you think about, what the overarching, role of an integrator is on a project, I mean, it's, from the initial stages, it's project management, or maybe even a step before that, there's a level of expertise that comes into play when you're, speccing out a job and you're listening to what the customer's needs are. And, you're hearing what their struggles or their pain points are. And then in your mind, you're formulating, okay, let me pull from this product, let me pull from this product. We can kind of bring these together, or maybe they're the advisor that says, hey, that's something that doesn't really exist today. We can get you pretty close to that. But I mean, I feel like, yeah, that this, there's definitely some things that a direct to consumer customer model just doesn't do in this industry. And
yeah.
That partner will always be needed for sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if maybe some of that comes from, the concept of Ring. And spoiler alert, I think all of us here at Qumulex probably have Ring on our front door too, just because it's really just
Absolutely.
great for home
Yeah.
use. But obviously you don't typically hire an electrician or somebody to come put all that in. I mean, it's like one thing, and it's
But not only that,
replacing right where the doorbell is. So it's not really
yeah.
that complicated. Maybe that's not where that comes from, but I don't think it's different there. But I think kind of what you're alluding to as well is, I could maybe do some research to see if there's products out there I like if I'm an end user, for example. But I kind of need that advocate, because if I call, and I'll pick on us, if I call Qumulex as an end user to hear more about their product, well, of course we love Qumulex. We're here, we're passionate about it, we're building it. We're always going to tell a customer, we feel that we're the best solution for you. But I think where an integrator is excellent is, and then you go to that integrator, they do it every day.
Yeah.
And they're always involved, with this. They're very plugged into the industry, and they may think that the product you want is good, but maybe there's something that fits your application better for some reason. And it's because they have this, collective experience of what they do every day. But another thing that I always noticed, and this is not just like a post-COVID new world kind of a thing. The idea to me that end users have the time to do all of this research, figure out what to do, what they ought to use. And if you're a smaller company, it's only 5 or 10 cameras. It doesn't make it any easier than when you have a large enterprise and they've got thousands of them. I mean, the scale is the same. This is not, you already have a job to do. You're probably understaffed, because almost everyone is. And you don't have time to go do the research, figure out how to buy it, get it, understand how it works, put it in, the putting it in is a big thing. I couldn't get customers to really take enough time to look at the quote. I have to make sure that they would see certain things,
Sure.
because they would just kind of glance over it and look at the bottom number.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's the whole methodology also of the integrator's experience comes into play where, they kind of know what's best for a certain scenario or for like a certain type of customer. For example, like maybe their spec calls for 7 days and they're like, listen, by the time you have an incident that comes in or, an insurance claim or whatever the case may be, typically 7 days isn't enough. So then they'll make recommendations like, let's go with a 30-day storage model or, just something like that as an example. There's a level of expertise there that comes into play that, an end user might not be thinking about when they're researching all these products. They're kind of just looking at the bells and whistles, and I could appreciate that, and definitely, and I love that you contrast against Ring. I think Ring is an excellent example. That's something that everybody knows, and unfortunately, just here in my neighborhood alone, I see some pretty bad installations, right?
Right.
There's those kits where you have the 50 foot of wire, and the wire's just kind of
I know
bundled
you're not
up and
talking
zip
about
tied.
mine. I know you're not talking about mine. Mine's perfect.
Exactly right. There's that level of expertise that comes with, an installer that just, can make penetrations into know how to run cable and smooth lines where it's not, a neighbor's house, like a visible, just kind of like a eyesore. But yeah.
No, and again, just understanding what's available, what makes sense, being able to offer multiple options, but the idea that they can be, they're an agent for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not beholden to one single brand. They're able to offer whatever makes the most sense based on their experiences. I think it's very important. And again, it's just the time. I mean, who's got time to take on a whole other, like, I don't think that actually saves an end user money in the end, even if you've got somebody in IT or somebody that you want to kind of push that on. I mean, I used to get on a ladder every day. I can tell you, if you don't do that stuff every day, like having your tools, the right tools at the right time, keeping things organized, there's all these little nuances to running an installation crew. They would probably be walking back and forth 50 foot to a toolbox every 2 seconds, take them all day to put up a camera, maybe, because it's just, you don't do something every day. It's hard to be really excellent at it. So yeah, I don't know. That just always seems wild to me that we hear that. I think what is fair maybe is that, as technology changes, whether it's cloud or AI or anything else, I mean, that you have to evolve, but I feel like most integrators want to do that, and they understand their business model and where they want to go, and they just need the technologies to kind of fit that. But
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's that whole technical support and kind of maintenance perspective that also is a value add for them, to an end user, obviously, because like you said, an end user might not have the time. They're wrapped up in their world. Yeah, maybe they did the initial investment of time and selecting products that they really like, and they were able to kind of project manage themselves and get the product installed, excuse me. But as far as support and maintenance is concerned, that's something that will absolutely never go away, because things break, right? Devices go down, hard drives eventually fail. Who's going to take the time to maintain and troubleshoot that? That just becomes then another burden on the end user. Whereas if they would have had that relationship established with, vendors and what have you, they wouldn't have that problem. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think integrators are so important, and I really think they always will be. And I think that's a concept that's here to stay.